All right, guys, here goes nothing. So my name is Steven Berger. I run Barbecue Heaven. I started this company from the ground up. I've literally built every recipe that I have with my hands. I started with the hot dog cart, eventually built out my own food trailer that I have right here. And the journey has been a long one, but it's been a successful one. And I just wanted to give you guys some tips and insights on some things that I would have done differently, some things that I've done right, and just some insights along the way that you could probably gain a lot of traction from if you're going to get into this business. All right, so what I first want to start off with is you have to really love what you do. I know this one sounds so cliche, but I'm telling you guys, like, if you experience a burnout a year or two into the business, what keeps you going and motivated in the business is you have to love it. If you do, it's kind of what drives you. When you see other people doing better than you, it makes you want to do better. You know, you're only competing with yourself. There's always enough business for everybody out there, just letting you guys know that. And so with loving with what you do, you obviously want to be successful. That is the reason why you decided to either quit your job or just start your own business. And that's the most important thing, is that that if you love what you do, then it's never work. And it really is true, because the thing is when you remind yourself why you got into this in the very beginning, you're working for yourself. And I tell that to myself every day when I'm stressed out. I might be stressed because I'm worried about the quality or the timing that I'm going to get somewhere. But it's like, at the end of the day, I'm working for myself, and that's the most important thing. So with all that being said, we want to make our business successful. That leads to my second point: social media, social media, social media. I know that everybody says location, 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 but we're not a restaurant yet. It's all about social media. You have to reach people so that you can get more business. And that doesn't mean the business is just going to fall into your lap. I highly suggest getting onto pages that support food trucks, maybe your local food truck, or excuse me, your local like foodie page or whatever, and reach out, be in the community, talk, post, show your pictures. And that's also into social media, is like, I'm a very, very, very big fan of Gary Vee. It's like, you cannot judge yourself, guys. You have to just post. You post, 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 because people just don't know who you are yet. And even when they do know who you are, post some more. If they don't want to see it, they'll unfollow you, and that's okay. You got to accept that not every single person is going to love you. I've had a real struggle with that myself. I have about 98 out of 198 perfect 5-star reviews for my business between Facebook and Google. But I'm always so concerned about getting a 1-star review, and now I've convinced myself that it doesn't matter what people think. It's that I love what I do, and that I'm trying to grow my business. So back to social media, if you're on all these groups and you're into the community and stuff, you'll see what events are going on. You'll start to learn people who host these events, and you want to make friends with these people, because these are who you are going to become good friends with them. You know, if they charge for an event, sometimes it's worth paying the 20-40 bucks for an event, because you might make $1,000 or $1,500. It might be worth your time. And I would always take care of the hosts of the events, because they're doing you a favor by advertising for you, so that you can just pull up and literally make good money. Also, my last point was social media, and the biggest point that I love that Gary Vaynerchuk always makes is that it's free, guys. Like, and it's only going to be free for so many more years. You have to take advantage of it. All right, so let me get to the good stuff. I don't want to bore you guys. This is where it all gets fun, is like your product. Your product is everything. It's your business is going to be branded around what you could possibly make your business expand into, whether it's sauces or rubs or whatever it might be. I do barbecue, so I have 6 rubs and 6 sauces. In the beginning, I started with 1 sauce and just sold pork. It wasn't even in my thought of the future of what I could expand into. But your product is everything. And I always tell people, like, don't reinvent the wheel unless you're in a place that, you know, for one, people will accept what you're trying to make. You know, if you're trying to do some crazy different burrito that's got these crazy ingredients that are fried, it might not be good in a place that everybody eats healthy. You know, you have to know your audience. And that's where, like, I tell people, like, don't reinvent the wheel. If you're from a place that likes green chili, like out in Colorado, everybody loves green chili, and you like tacos, maybe choose 3 different meats and have a green chili and a couple other sauces. Like, you Keep it, the simpler you keep it, the easier it will be on yourself. And this is the next one that I want to get into, because this one's probably the biggest, is the ease of operation. You definitely want your operation to be easy every single day, because I'm telling you guys, you will burn out if your operation is hard. If you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 days a week, you're 2 years in, you're going to be like, what am I doing this for? So make your ease operation super easy. If you want to do Philly cheesesteaks and you buy the bread from a local place and all you do is one meat and peppers and onions, you might limit your crowd a little bit, but I promise you guys that your profitability, your ease of operation, you'll want to do it 5-6 days a week and get out there and make more money. All right, and I was gonna lead back into that. So if you do decide to do one meat or one simple thing, the only problem is that you do limit yourself when it comes to caterings, or if you're at a fair or something. A lot of places will want to see that you offer 2 or 3 different types of meats, or maybe you offer a vegan item, just because these attract more people. So you might go to an event and one person sells ice cream, you sell barbecue, and the other person sells tacos. Ed, I hate this, but I gotta do it. I'm just trying to like get more on. Yeah, no, you're good. I'm just recording, trying to get more. It's so smart. I know, and I'm like, if I could get 1 million views, it'd be nice to just show like people. I'm going through a list of what I would have done differently and everything with the business, and right. And I'm like, I hate being in front of the camera, but it makes it better because people are like, well, he's doing it, so. Right. No, exactly. They want to know what doesn't work. Hey, and then all of a sudden one day you have too much, so. All right, Pat. We'll see you later. All right, guys, so in the beginning, you're loving what you do, you're posting all the time, but you just don't understand why you're like not getting any traction right away. And this is where I think most people don't understand the power of like the day and age we live in. So Google, guys, this is my next point. Google is so powerful. It drove my business. I almost got 500,000 views in 2 years. And for a food truck, that's really powerful. So what I want to get into is like, you can download Google. It's actually mostly on most Androids, but you can get Google My Business, and you can start running your own ads, and they don't have to be expensive. You can literally start ads from, I think you can do them free possibly, but that just puts you on Google. If you start paying like $1 to $5 a day, which I did $3 a day for the first year, that's $91 a month, and it would bring in so much traffic to my business, guys. I'm not even kidding. But the thing is that that's where you have to have more things set up in place, which I'll get further down the line. I would just really recommend, though, is that you look into Google My Business. You start with the campaigns, and the campaigns can be like, hey, we offer catering. We're located in this position. If you're having a permanent location, you're setting your food truck up, and there's so many different forms that you can choose. In the beginning, I had my Google business set up as a restaurant, which I don't know how I got away with it. Now they're a little more strict, but like, I've changed it to a mobile caterer, and it's done wonders for my website, because my website is all about catering. So it links everybody to my website, which moves more traffic to my business, to my personal self. So I really suggest Google with the social media, the two combined, I promise it will run probably 85% of your business. And guys, that's where my next point I hit is the website. I really, really encourage you guys to build your own website. The reason I encourage you to do so is as you're building your own website, even if it's really crappy in the beginning, it's about that you're learning. You're becoming your own boss. You're teaching yourself to think, to design, to look at it from a consumer's perspective. Because if you're sitting there and you're like, well, this guy comes on and he doesn't see any prices, well then how is he going to want your product? If he comes on and sees that you have all these prices and it's a very easy operation for him to just say, I want to serve 20 people at this date, all those things are just more attraction to your business. Again, you might have Google or Facebook that gets them to you, but that doesn't mean that you like actually sealed the deal. And then we'll talk about it later in the video about once you have the customer, how do you get the customer to come back to you? Because they say once you get the customer, 3 to 5 times, you could really almost have them for life, which is really important for your business, because the reason why you're starting your own company is to grow this so that one day you won't have to work so hard like wherever you're working now, or just if you want to change your life up a little bit. And then this is something I feel like not enough people talk about in the food industry. Is something that I really struggled with, is the inconsistent schedule. If you wake up and you're used to a 9-to-5 job every day, Monday through Friday, you have a schedule every week. So when Friday comes that you get into your chi and you enjoy your weekend. When it comes to the food truck business, the grind never stops, especially in the first 2 years. You're always constantly on Facebook looking for events, trying to fill out your schedule, building your brand, getting people to trust in your name. If you're not out though, you're not building, this brand, but sometimes you're like, well, I want to go out and sell, but I go out to this local side of the road and I only make $200. Like at the end of the day, you might take home 30% of what you make. You can't take home 30% of $200 and really make a living off that. That's a real struggle, especially when it's going to take you a 12-hour day of setup and cooking and doing everything that you have to. That's why ease of operation is such a big thing. And then back to what I was saying earlier about like making your website, is that you are the electrician, you are the plumber, you are the boss, you are the website person, you're the marketer, you're the accountant, you're everything now. And with that being said, that's why I encourage you to learn every single aspect. Even if you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, get in there, look at YouTube videos, like figure it out, because you're gonna pay somebody top dollar to figure something out that's very simple, that you could at least make that judgment next time on whether it's worth you to pay somebody or is it worth you to do the work yourself, And then I think I already answered my own question, but get an accountant. Literally, guys, it's the most important thing. I really messed up by not doing my taxes properly the first 2 years, and it ended up being a big mess. I really suggest you go sit down with somebody, an accountant, not H&R Block. Don't go to the big corporate places. Go with somebody that's local, that's going to take care of you and teach you the ways, because you want to make sure that you're getting everything deducted possible that you can. You want to make sure that you're not paying the IRS any more than you need to pay them. All right, and then this is a really special point, guys. So don't fix what's not broken, guys. I want this to really ring in your head. If you are doing something that starts to work, if you're running a special and you're realizing that you're making really good money on it, the customers are loving what you're doing, don't change it, you know what I mean? Possibly add on to it just to expand and see what happens. But sometimes if you make too drastic a change, people don't like change that much. If you realize it's doing really well and then all of a sudden you jump the price up, don't fix what's not broken. If the thing is making you money and it's doing really well in the beginning, leave it, let it be. It might be a good attraction just to get people in the door for your business. For instance, for me, it was the pulled pork sandwich in the beginning. I did pork because it was so cheap. I did my one sauce with it. Everything was great. Then I started adding all these toppings and everything. And what happened was that I ended up making the operation harder on me. People really liked what I was doing, but I made it to the point where I'm trying to pickle my own jalapenos, pickle my own red onions. And then there were certain days where I'm just tired and didn't want to work all night long. And so I'd go home and then people are disappointed. They want consistency. So literally, do not fix what's not broken, guys. Like literally, if the thing is working, keep running with it. And I really, I really emphasize that. All right, so my next point, guys, scaling. I really encourage you. I know that it's like when you used to go into a business when you're 20 years old, they'd ask you, hey, write out a 2-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year plan. And you're like, I can't even think about what I want to do tomorrow. But I really encourage you to think about, if you had a plan, a 2-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year plan where you saw where this business could go, I write it down so that you can at least be real with yourself and be like, okay, this is achievable, this is not achievable. I don't even know if I want to be in that kind of business, because if you get into the business and you realize for instance, I got into the food truck business, but then I realized the catering business is more of the business that I would prefer to be in. But with hand in hand is that you have to have your name out there to get more catering. So it's good to have a food truck, because now you're doing events to get your name out there to get more caterings, along with your social media and advertising. So that 2, 5, 10-year plan, I know it's going to change over time, but this will show you growth and how to scale your company, because you might realize that you got 5, 6 different meats, or you're doing whatever you're doing, and you're like you're going like trying to diversify as much as you can. The problem is that when you go to scale, you want to serve 200 people for a catering. It's hard to make 5 different meats perfect that same day and make sure that you can get it out to every single customer, make them happy, as opposed to if you did 3 meats and it's easy for you, you make money on each single one, and then this is just the options that you offer. Sometimes people will go with the bigger corporate company over you because they offer more options, but I promise if they're local and they really care about quality, they're going to choose your company. And then this is my next point, which I feel like too many people limit themselves, is like when you work for somebody for so long, these are the rules that the business has for you. Well, when you start to work for yourself, guys, there is no rules. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. Like, if you're like, well, I don't have anybody that knows about my food today. It's a beautiful day out and I'd love to be selling and making $1,000. Well, what you could do is you could cook up a little bit of food at your house, and you could cook up a little food in general. Sorry, it should be at your commissary. But go and drop this food off at a big corporate place that has 500 employees and say, hey guys, like, I don't know when your next corporate event is, but I would love to take care of you guys. Like, this is kind of the price range I charge per person. You never know, guys. They might be like, we'd love a 200-person catering next week for 15 people, and that or $15 a person, excuse me, and you make some good money. So I'm telling you, do not limit yourself. You can literally drop off food to any business. You can go, I mean, it's just the rules are not, they don't have limits, guys. And then, okay, this is my next point, is like, don't sell yourself short. A lot of people in the beginning said that my prices were high compared to other people, but I also knew the product that I was putting in it, the quality of it, and I let that speak for itself. I know that somebody could have my pulled pork sandwich, it might have been $2 more, but the sauce is homemade, I had good buns, I had good pickles on it, everything was really good about it. So those people, the clientele, the audience that I was getting that were coming back to me was from the quality that I was choosing. And I really highly emphasize this, because later, 2 years down the road, those are the clientele that I'm still getting. You don't want, if you're going cheap with your business, you're going to get a cheap audience. If you go a little bit pricier, you're going to get a nicer audience. Now, we are in what seems like to be a recession right now, so things really have doubled in price since I've started, and I'm not even like being dramatic about that. So people understand that the price has increased, but I also don't get a lot of business because my prices are higher than a lot of people. Rudy's charges half of what I charge, and they can, because they buy in so much bigger of bulk than I do. But that's okay, guys. I know my worth. I know the quality of my food. I know that they've never had anything like my food before, and that's you really have to, that goes back to like loving what you do. You really have to be passionate about what you do to be confident in your pricing, to be confident in what you're selling to people. It all kind of ties together. And then this ties into what a point that I would emphasize in the very beginning, but I needed to kind of tie it all into it to come back full circle, was branding, t-shirts, logos, stickers. Like, in the beginning, Get somebody to draw out your logo. Have a vision of what you like, or maybe you're just not artistic at all. Find some young kid that loves cartoon drawing or whatever he does, and get him to draw you up a logo, and then find somebody else that does photo editing to like color it for you and give you a copy. And then you have a logo, guys. It could be a trading of food, whatever it might be, whatever you need to do to get your logo out there so that you can brand your shirts, your stickers, your business. No, I'm not cooking today, my man. Sorry, I'll be out tomorrow. Where at? Tomorrow's Friday. I'll be right over on Circle in Monterey over here. It's like a mile and a half away. All right, thank you. Yeah, have a great day, brother. All right, guys, so back to the branding is like, you know, and I really actually, I've seen a lot of this happen is like people get food trucks in the very beginning and they don't have a logo on it. It should be the first thing you do is get a decal on your truck. And the most important reason is because people try to steal them. You should always have a lock for the front, for the wheels, extreme good locks for each of your doors or whatever it might be. But that logo is important. So if somebody does decide to steal your actual business or something like that, you have it branded. They can't miss it. You know, it's all over. But most importantly is when you go out, if people are seeing you in public, your t-shirts, your brand is everything about you, because people start to recognize you all the time and see you doing it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. People remember you, and they remember you from your brand. You know, if my brand is Barbecue Heaven, you're the barbecue guy, right? Yeah, you know, I have a tattoo of my business because I believe in myself from the beginning. Got it in the first year. Your brand is everything, guys, and that's what your food, your product, your quality, your word, everything is going to revolve around that brand. Whether you have good customer service, whether you have cheap product, are you fast? You know, when you think about Chipotle, you know that Chipotle was maybe 15 years ago, it was amazing, but now you'll still go once in a while because it's cheap, it's quick, it's just efficient, and you know where the product is made. It's made right behind you, it's put into the steam pans, and it's sold. So I really encourage branding your product and the line of work that you do. You know, I'll go into that a little bit further. For instance, for me, I have 3 different meats, which all are boneless. The only one that has bone in it is chicken and the pulled pork, but I pull the bones out. And so essentially I do sandwiches. And the reason why I do sandwiches and plates is that I don't have to worry about slicing bones or doing any of that. I just slice brisket and then I just put pulled pork or pulled chicken on a sandwich or in a plate. It's very simple, it's quick, it's efficient. People get their food within 1 minute, and then they remember, dang, I got my food really quick. It was really, really good. Barbecue Heaven. And then if I'm wearing my product and my hat and selling my t-shirts and my sauces and my brand, everything ties back in together of just building who you are. You can put this on Google, you can sell your sauces, your t-shirts, you could sell courses of yourself selling your brand, which might take some time, but I promise over time, branding yourself, your logo, everything is really important. You know, I had a friend who was a cartoon artist draw this up, and then I had another friend I went to high school with color it for me. So it's like, I'm telling you guys, I didn't pay a dime for any of this. These are really good friends of mine. You can do the same, I promise you guys. And then okay, now this point is kind of back to what I was saying in the beginning about your product, about not going too crazy with it. If you really do believe that you have a product that you can sell, that it's your own, that you're not going to just take some other bottle and try to sell it as your sauce, I really encourage you guys to run with it. And the branding is super important. So for me and my 6 sauces and 6 rubs, now 2.5 years later, I'm really trying to expand to put these in grocery stores, expand to put them in Amazon. You know, I have to get nutrition data I have to send it to a lab and get it all tested. I have to essentially I actually don't know if I have to send it to a lab, but I know that I have to get nutritional labels printed out. I'm pretty sure they have stuff online that you can print. But all of this stuff is literally back to the product. You know, if you're just doing Philly cheesesteaks and you don't have a sauce, don't worry about it that much. But if you have a company that you have sauces, hats, t-shirts, things that you can expand your business profitability on, I really, really encourage to do a unique product. And for me, I'm telling you, in the beginning, I wasn't thinking about it like that. I only had one sauce that I made. I knew that it was really good on the pulled pork, and that was great. Now I have 6, and I love the fact that I have 6, because now I'm realizing, like, the different customers that come up, they only have 3 meats they have to choose from. Then the fun part gets to the toppings and the sauces for them. But it ended up being better for me, because now that I've created my own, I can actually expand this and market my brand even to another clientele, people that are family oriented, that don't have as much time to go out into the stores or go see a food truck at a rally or something like that. Now they can get my sauce on the shelf. And then this is probably my most important thing that I just don't hear anybody talk about. Guys, don't start with debt. I'm telling you, like, I didn't start with any business debt. I started with actual debt, and I'm still in personal debt. Figure out a way to work your job, do whatever you do to get yourself out of debt before you start the business, because there's going to be so many ups and downs, and heaven forbid you actually start the business with the trailer costing you 20 grand and it's $1,000 a month. You got commissary costs, guys. You have gas costs, propane costs, insurance costs, waste costs. I mean, product just to serve the utensils, the napkins, the plates, the every single thing. If you're doing a catering, aluminum pans, I mean, it's $25 to get a set of aluminum pans and lids just alone. I mean, these things all cost money. So really, if you can, avoid going into debt. If you got $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 in debt, I recommend reading Total Money Makeover by David Ramsey, I think the book is. He's excellent on telling you, like, essentially how to organize your money, because if you can't organize your own money, it's going to be really hard to organize the business money, let alone worrying about paying taxes and employees once you start getting them. Like, I just don't be in debt, guys. Like, really don't be in debt. And then this one's kind of off, back to the food business, guys, is that foot traffic is location. And that's where they always say location, location, location. Well, foot traffic is your location. So if you have a spot that you can get, like a baseball field where there's a ton of people and they're all on feet, then you can possibly get some good sales. If you go to a park that is extremely busy, which not all parks accept food trucks, but that's a good place to make money. If you're going to be on just the side of the road, nobody knows who you are. They don't know if you're good. Even if you do get a line, that might only be 4 or 5 people, and you might not see somebody for a couple hours. Like, that location just isn't going to bring you enough foot traffic to provide your business. That's where social media and Google for me comes in, and that does it allows me to, when I get into events, I can post on Google, Facebook, social media, all of these platforms, so that anybody who's looking me up, even if it's 1,000 people in the day, they can all find where I am located at. So foot traffic is location, and then the rest of your location is social media platforms. And that's just how it is until you get a restaurant, until 15,000 people drive by your business every day and they know that's your location. It's just different. Now, I will say this: location can be a really good thing if you do have a spot. If you paid $400 or $500 a month and you had a food truck parked in one spot, which I still don't recommend paying monthly for a place, because you just don't know if you're going to do well there. And in the beginning, $400 or $500 is a lot with your commissary and anything else costs you have. And this is where I really want to emphasize that if I was going to redo this business, the only thing I didn't do in the beginning, and I really wish I would have done it, and I think I just got deterred from looking up on Google like how complex they could get, was I really recommend writing up a business plan, guys. And what I mean by that is, like, write up a business plan of where you want to go with this, how you're going to start. I started in a hot dog cart and sold pulled pork, and the cost for me to start up was like $6,000. But then I ended up building my food truck out and doing everything else. And sometimes I almost wish I still had the hot dog cart selling, because I was making more money by going every day because it was cheaper. But then the weather and stuff, I'm able to do bigger events with the food truck. So write out a business plan. Think about your product. Think about expanding your product. Think about the social media platforms you're going to post on. Like, think about how your day would go from waking up in the morning And literally, like, if you got to run to Sam's that day, okay, well, add on another 45 minutes. It could be traffic. It could be Sam's is really busy. You know, think about, do you have to cook your food overnight? Do you have to marinate it overnight? Is the ease of operation, is everything easy for you to succeed? Are you going to eventually have a website? Are you going to have branding material so that you can eventually sell things from your website, so that you can get more people everywhere in every direction to fall in love with your brand? And that's where I believe that a business plan is the spider web of everything that lets you see what you need to see to succeed. Um, it's really everything, you know. Like, I started with my van, and then I built the trailer out, and then for a while I was thinking that I wanted to do this and that and build my own smoker out, which eventually I would still like to do. But it's like, you start to get antsy because you just want something to do. But really, it's if your business plan is proper from the beginning, you're never stressed out or antsy, because you know where you're going with your business the whole time. And even if you have to update your business plan as you go, it's really important to kind of know. It's like, how do you run a race if you don't know where the end's at? You know, and it's really important, guys. And I'm pretty sure I already covered all this: the commissary cost, the gas propane costs. I mean, guys, this one's huge, is like generator costs. You know, you might have $1,000 generator, and that's the generator you need that gets you out every single day. But what happens when that goes out? You get out to your event today and you go to start it up and it doesn't start. Now you have all this product you have to sell. Possibly, maybe you can come back and sell it tomorrow. It's not going to be as fresh as it was today. You don't even know if you're going to get a generator in time to be able to go out tomorrow. So just understand that, like, everything that I've said, it all ties into each other. Being debt free, everything, preparing in the business operation that a generator could go out. You know, I have 2 generators. I have 2 warmers. I have everything. I have 3 fridges. Like, you just need to be prepared for the worst all the time, because those are the setbacks in your business that will make it to where you're not making money. It'll frustrate you. It'll burn you out. Write the business plan out step for step about, you know, the product, the quality, the costs. Go into Google Excel and literally write out your food costs and type in down to the measurement, and write an inventory list of the cost of every one of your items, so that you can do the cost of goods analysis. And when you go into the next week and you're like, man, brisket's $4.50 a pound now, you're able to update that in your food costs and see, okay, this is where I might have to start charging, because I'm not making the profit that I should be making. And any customer that, if you're still producing quality, as long as you're not going too outrageous, I'm pretty sure that they'll still accept it. I can't believe how for so long I thought my product was too expensive. And then as my clientele got better, people would come up and be like, man, this is so reasonable. And it's like, it's all perspective. So literally write your business plan out, set yourself up for success. Feel free to answer, or feel free to message with any comments or messages to me personally, and I'll help you guys in any way I can. I've been in this industry for 20 years. It's not just barbecue. I chose barbecue because it was the only way I could do a business by myself for the first 2 years. Now that I have my wife on board, things have changed. You know, she's helping me out a lot, which that's another category we can talk about. Like, I highly recommend starting this business by yourself. Starting a business with a business partner is just too much work. There's going to be too much conflict, confusion in the beginning, because one person wants to do it this way, one person might get lazy. You know, even family is really, really hard, guys. Like, I got into it with my wife because I knew my wife was sick of her job for the last 2 years, and I knew that we could be a better team by working together. If it was going to jeopardize my relationship or any of that, or my business, I would never bring her on. But don't just get a friend involved because, hey, it's a great idea and you just want somebody to do it with. Throw yourself into the trenches, figure it out. I promise you it'll be worth every single step of the way. Like, you're gonna be successful if you set yourself up for success. You write out everything that could possibly go wrong, and you work on the positives, and you literally just go with the flow, guys. I'm telling you, you're never going to be able to predict what tomorrow happens. It might be that you have to change the rotors on your car, or the bearings on your trailer, or grease something that you've never greased before. But I promise you, you'll get through it. It's better than working that 9-to-5 job and working for somebody for $15 in a day. Like, come on, you guys are, you have more self-worth than that. You don't need 20 years of experience. We have YouTube. Find something you love, create your own niche about it. Don't reinvent the wheel though. Don't go too crazy with it, and brand it, guys. I promise you. Write that business plan. We'll see you on the next video.